This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know there are some vibrations I rock, and there are others that I'm still learning to, we'll put it that way. Take my neighbor vibration, for example. Actually, you know what? That one could actually go in both categories. Sometimes I rock that vibration, and there are other times where it is in super sketchy territory. Ooh, but remember, one of my favorite manifesting successes of all time was on the subject of my neighbor. Remember my favorite crackhead neighbor? Ooh, I shared this in another episode, so I won't go into detail here, but you might remember how once upon a time I had an unstable criminal neighbor. Ooh, boy, that guy, he was off the helpful meds and he was on the wrong ones. I mean, that guy was such a menace to the whole neighborhood. Everyone was up in arms about this guy. I mean, he was attracting the criminal element into our neighborhood with his drug dealing. He would fire his gun at random times throughout the day and night. Who knows what he was shooting at? Sometimes when he was driving down our road, he would swerve his car onto people's front lawns where kids were playing. The guy was not right. He made death threats to two different people on two different occasions at my house. He trained his German Shepherd to kill my cats. I mean, the list goes on. I'm not exaggerating to say he was a nightmare. And like I said, everyone was up in arms against him, including me. And of course, it wasn't getting better. It couldn't get better. I didn't know that at the time. For at least 3 months, I was in that battle routine, frustrated that the police wouldn't help. Everyone was frustrated. It wasn't just me. But eventually I realized, oh, Jeanette, nothing good can come from what you were vibrating, because my vibrations they were not good. In fact, I had joined him. He set the tone for my reality. I had joined him in fighting and chaos and hate and anger and violence when what I really wanted, what was missing from my life, was peace and quiet and love and appreciation. So I used those keywords as a way to start shifting my vibration. I went into detail on the other episode, so I'll just say it took some practice, but I knew my job was to find my way to what I wanted, even while he was still being the opposite of all that. I knew I couldn't wait for him to leave or to get better before I felt better, because it doesn't work that way. The world can only match my vibration, and all I had done was join him in exactly what I didn't want. Hey, remember how Abraham says for us to own the room vibrationally? That's really what I wanted to do. I believed once I activated peace, quiet, love, and appreciation, I knew that guy would have to make an exit from my reality. There's no way he could join me in those vibrations. So once I was vibrating that, we couldn't cross paths anymore, even though we lived right by each other. I knew universe would sort it out. But in the back of my mind, I figured the way it would work is he would either end up in the morgue or go back to jail or maybe move in with his girlfriend. But somehow, some way, he wouldn't be able to be in my world once I became peace, quiet, love, and appreciation. So I committed to feeling better first. And it was not easy, but I practiced and practiced and practiced. It took weeks. And basically, I was just being really mindful about every time he would do something that would upset me. Normally, I would take a deep breath. I would repeat my mantra of peace, quiet, love, and appreciation. And then I would find a better feeling thought. And the more I did it, the better I got at it. And it took weeks, but I did start to relax, even while he was still being his normal, dangerous, offensive. The things he said to me were so foul. Wow. But I did. I started to find my way to better vibrations. And then one day, I was out back and I heard his German Shepherd's chain move. He kept this poor dog tied up. This was another thing. It bothered me so much. He kept her tied up on a chain. It was a super heavy chain and it was very short. She didn't have any cover. She didn't have any water. It didn't seem she was getting any care. It was so heartbreaking. I tried talking him and his grandmother into letting me rehome her, but to no avail. Anyway, we had these big bushes between our porches, so even though we were close enough to hear each other come and go, we couldn't see each other. And that time I heard his dog's chain move, I couldn't see her, but I turned in that direction and I said, "Hello, honey," because her name was Honey, believe it or not. And what I heard in response was something I did not expect. It was a human voice that said, hello. It was like super awkward. It was my crazy crackhead neighbor. And then his screen door slammed shut, and I burst out laughing because I didn't know he was there when I thought I was talking to his dog, and he thought I was talking to him, and it made me laugh out loud that he thought I was talking to him when I said, "Hello, honey." Okay, it made me laugh, and it felt like it broke an evil spell, which I'd been working on for a while, but that was a key point, I remember. And then a few days later, I got a phone call. It was from Carolyn, his grandmother. He had moved in with her after he got out of jail because his mom had died while he was in jail, so he moved in with his grandmother. And she was the sweetest woman. And one day, oh my gosh, I was so sleep deprived from him doing all his nighttime activities that I screamed at her in the front yard. I mean, screaming. I'm not exaggerating to say I screamed at her, "Carolyn, this is your fault. You need to do something about this." Oh, yeah. I was not in the right place. Okay, anyway, the phone rang. This is a couple days after I had laughed that he thought I had said "hello, honey" to him. My phone rang. It was Carolyn, his grandmother. I answered it. I said, "Hello, Carolyn. How are you doing?" And it wasn't Carolyn. It was Alex. Okay, did you notice how just in my story, he's not my crazy crackhead neighbor anymore now? He's got a name. He's Alex. Oh, he said, I don't know if he called me by my name. I don't know if he said Jeanette, but he said, "I'm sorry I've been such a bad neighbor to you. I'd like to be a better one." And I could tell, I could tell those were awkward words for him to say, but they were genuine. I mean, I really felt like he meant it. And I burst into tears. I cried. And I said, "Alex, I'm the one who's been a bad neighbor. I'm sorry to you." It was a transformational conversation. But I'd been building up to it with my vibrational work. So it didn't come from nowhere. But anyway, after that, I had a different neighbor. When he was doing his drug deals right outside my bedroom window, and really that's just where his driveway was. Where else is he going to do his business? But now when he did it, he would whisper, and he would make his customers whisper too. He'd say, "Shh, my neighbor's sleeping." I mean, I still heard it. It still woke me up, but it made such a difference that he was trying to be more considerate. And and in the fall when the leaves were, they had this giant, gorgeous tree in their front yard, and he raked my leaves in my parking strip and asked if I wanted him to rake them in my yard too. When the snow fell, he shoveled my driveway. I don't even know if he shoveled his own driveway, but he was just being an amazing neighbor. And sometimes he and I would chat at the fence like friendly neighbors would. And one day we were chatting, and his German shepherd spied one of my cats, and his dog took off after my cat, just like she'd been trained to do. And Alex, oh my gosh, it was like someone lit a rocket underneath him. He took off after his dog, yelling at her like his life depended on it. And I loved him for that. And the cat was fine. The dog was fine. But that guy, my point being, he became a model neighbor. He became a model neighbor for me, not for anyone else in the neighborhood. They were still up in arms about him. But he was a different guy for me. They still found reasons to do their old routine with him, but he and I had a whole different relationship. In fact, even when I moved and I rented out my house, he kept an eye on things for me. He was just such a helpful neighbor. That was one of my favorite wins on the topic of neighbors. So I am capable of rocking this vibration. Okay, for the record. All right. But I have also had less than fabulous experiences with this one as well. In fact, right now, you've probably heard me talk about the new construction in the neighborhood. It used to be 18 acres of open land to one side of me, and now there's a half a dozen homes that are going in. And that broke my heart, partly because, not just that because there was going to be houses on what used to be open, natural land for wildlife to enjoy and for me to enjoy beautiful views. So not just that now there's going to be houses on it, but that also means neighbors, hello, people, is not what was my favorite thing. And I was grumbly about it. I don't need to tell you that. You've heard me grumbling. Oh, in fact, if you're a GVU member, you heard the episode I just published about what manifested after I did a routine on claiming that property as mine. I laid down a little manifesting ritual with fairies to make it so. Yeah, that was a hoot. Chad's still working on the new fence. But anyway, I'm getting new neighbors, so I've been deliberately working on my amazing neighbor vibration, because if I'm going to get new neighbors, then they're going to be amazing, because I'm too smart to do it any other way. In fact, I'm just declaring that it's going to be even better than not having neighbors. And I don't have to know how that's true. Universe has to figure it out. As long as I can give the instruction, it has to figure out how to make me right. So I'm activating the amazing neighbor vibration. And I'm just doing that by practicing what I love most about them before anyone even moves in. I'm imagining they're this, they're that. They're all my favorite things. And I'm practicing how good can I conjure a new neighbor to be. I'm imagining them as fun, as friendly, as delightful to visit with, like the kind of people when you see them, you light up because you're just so happy to even wave hello at them, let alone actually talk with them. I'm imagining they're the kind of fabulous people that make life even better up here. And with that vibration, it's going to be really, really good. But it takes practice. So I have been practicing. And along those lines, I was on a dog walk the other day. Okay, all that's backstory. So here's what I wanted to share with you today. I was on a dog walk in the neighborhood on our new road that I sort of have mixed feelings about because I really liked being on the dead-end street. Hello, I've got cats. They're feral cats. They're not indoor cats. Anyway, we got a road now. It goes through. I'm walking the dogs on the road, and it's a gorgeous day. It's so nice out. It's peaceful. There's no construction workers. There's no noise. It's just a perfect day for a dog walk in the neighborhood. Really enjoying it. And I see there's a jogger running up the road coming our way from the Airbnb. It's the illegal Airbnb. You can tell I still got a little vibe on that. It makes me ruin our perfectly nice walk. Here we are, enjoying a jogger coming. I turn to Chad. I jerk a thumb back at the jogger's way. I might have even said jogger like it was a foul word, so he knows we got to leash the dogs up. So he calls Olive over. He leashes her up, and I'm bending down to leash up Winston's collar. I don't have to worry about Harvey. He's happy to let strangers go by without saying hi, but we don't need two dogs running up to a stranger who may or may not appreciate loose dogs. So I'm bending down and I'm grumbly about it. I'm like, blinkety, blink, joggers from Airbnb. And it just struck me. Here I was having this perfectly fabulous outing, loving the day, loving the walk, and like on a dime, I turned into this grumbling, ornery person in a flash, and I felt that difference. And with that awareness, I remembered, wait, I have amazing neighbors. And this is one of my neighbors. At least today, for this weekend, this is one of my neighbors. And I have nothing but amazing neighbors. How could I forget that? I remembered it. And as I stood up, just this realization came over me instantly. Like I knew I can't have amazing neighbors until I am one. I have to be an amazing neighbor in order to be a match to them. I can't be Miss Grumbling Ornery Girl and expect friendly people in my world. So I knew this is my chance to be an amazing neighbor. So as I was standing up after leashing Winston up, a genuine smile came upon me. I wasn't doing it consciously. It just shifted. I had this genuine smile, and I turned to greet this person who was running up the road, and I called out. I smiled with a friendly greeting like an amazing neighbor would, and I was going to say to her, gorgeous day, isn't it? But all I got out was gorgeous before I realized she's saying the same thing back to me. She was saying gorgeous I thought we were going to say gorgeous day to each other at the same time, and I started laughing, but then she finished and she said, gorgeous dog. Oh, she's loving on Winston with me. Look, if you like my dog, I automatically like you. So we had a nice little chat with each other. It was a super short exchange, just enjoying the day. I laughed and she smiled. And she kept jogging the other way, and we went this way. We let the dogs off leash, and we finished our walk. And my day was better for having her in it. It really was. And I knew I'm making progress. I'm seeing the signs that universe can answer me when I get there, if I'm just willing to take myself there, which does sometimes on some subjects take some practice. Okay, so I'm getting signs that, and practice. But I'm starting to feel like, okay, I got a handle on this. And then another thing happened. I was outside with Chad, who was showing me our new fence line as a result of my manifestation of claiming the property. And we had the dogs outside with us. They were off leash. And sure enough, here comes another person walking down the road. They're not from the Airbnb. They were coming the other way. And I was like, someone's coming. In my mind, I try not to grumble to Chad too much. I don't need to infect him with my bad vibration because he doesn't have it the way I have it. But in my mind, I was thinking, what are they doing on my road? Quit walking on our road. No one lives here yet. And I knew this is not the amazing neighbor routine, Jeanette. So I breathed it out. And Chad he got a hold of Olive, and I put my two in the house. And eventually this person walking the dog comes by, and I did not recognize the person, but I thought I might recognize the dog. And as they got closer, I can't remember if he stopped and then I hollered hello, or if he hollered hi and we walked over. I don't know, but guess what we did? We walked over like friendly neighbors would and started chatting. And guess what he turns out to be? He is a neighbor who literally lives right around that corner that we didn't used to have because the road didn't used to exist. But now that there is one, he's literally right around the corner. I've seen his wife walking. I've talked to his wife walking that dog before. She is lovely. So here I am meeting another new neighbor. He turns out to be fabulous. We're chatting for about 20 minutes or so. And he was just really, really easy to love. And in our conversation, he shares some things that made my life even better, including that. Well, there were more than a few things, but maybe my favorite one was that he mentioned local hiking trails that I did not know about. He knew of even more local walking distance, not just drive your car in 10 minutes, from our house walking distance trails that I did not know about, that he offered to show me. He offered to show us. Okay. Universe knows what I like in a neighbor, because introducing me to more trails to take the dogs off leash. Oh, not only just new trails, but he said these trails never have anyone on them. Like, never. He said you could walk them pretty much any time. There's never anyone there. And that's one of my favorite things about a trail. You know me, I like to leave the dogs off leash. Okay, so here's why I'm telling you this story today. It turns out this wasn't just idle talk on the road like, oh, hey, we should get together sometime, and then never do. He followed up. He reached out to me. He texted and he said, hey, would you like a hiking tour? Or we could do it in the ATV if you prefer. And he said, anytime. And I was like, anytime? How about today? Then that's exactly what we're doing. As soon as I finish here, I'm going to meet him and his wife. They're going to show me some of those local trails that I am so excited to learn about. Oh my gosh. The reason I love this story so much is as an example of what happens when we're willing to change our mind, when we're willing to practice what we want in advance. You know what else this is? Oh, you know what else this is? You know, I've got a manifesting flashcard for in-person friends. That might be happening too. I don't know for sure, but it might be. If not, it's at least driftwood that says I'm getting closer. I'm just so delighted with how well this stuff works when we work it. So that's my story for you today. Let's not wait for it to change out there before we make the change within. Somehow, some way, we make a vibrational shift and the world has to morph to match us. Whatever we're willing to vibrate, whether it's wealth and abundance, or peace and quiet, or love and appreciation, or intimacy and connection, or success and accolades, whatever we're willing to practice before it's real. Like amazing neighbors. Universe will find a way to make it so before anyone even moves in. I just love this system and how much fun it is to work with. I hope you're having fun working with it too. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy manifesting.